at Ingresso and what they've been able to do over the years because of the principles of building a proper foundation for business rather than hoping to get lucky. I mean, have you guys picked up on anything that's been consistent amongst each of them? We didn't even get started yet. I got a lot of them to bring before you, but does anybody have anything that's really resonated with you that you found very insightful or helpful? I'm okay.
Hunger. You gotta have hunger.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Renee. Yeah, you gotta be hungry. You certainly want to be. So today why don't we do this? You're gonna see a connection between some of the things you've heard about in some of those interviews, in some of the interviews I bring before you. You're gonna see the same common thread, and that's what I'm gonna want you to pick up on. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and get kicking here with the presentation we're going to be talking about today. So welcome everyone as you come in. Let's go ahead and think on this idea of Labor Day and what it possibly can mean for you. Let's go ahead here. Yeah, there we go. Let me know if I'm guessing you can see my screen. If you can, we're all doing well. Okay. The question today, as you may have seen the email, I'm going to go ahead and mute some folks out because I'm getting a lot of feedback and I don't want that. Me no likey, right? Okay, let me go ahead and get to chat. Mute your phone, please. Everybody mute yourself. There you go. Make it easier on me, please. Thank you. Okay, so now, as we do this, let's take a look together. Luck or labor? We have seen it. We've heard it. Man, the lottery winner. Oh my goodness. Only 3 people had to split like 14 billion. What's it mean? Those are the questions we have. Like, how can we do it? As a child who grew up in an impoverished family, whenever my parents did get a little bit of money, couldn't wait to stand the lottery number for daily numbers. Years after years, every relative I had, if you go into the poorest of neighborhoods, because not enough has been passed down from generation to generation, we subconsciously rely heavily on luck of the draw. If you are post-slavery, you may have seen such things as you may have been told or taught that one day your ship's going to come in. There wasn't much hope. Maybe you come from a trodden, broken Italian family or Swedish or Irish or Latin America, where you've been suppressed for so long that your only thing your family could pass down was that one day it's just going to get better. Right? In the black community, that's something heavily. It says, oh, one day it's going to all be all right, which is not. That's encouraging, but it's the encouragement without the substance that really hurts us. So I want you to see today the connection between labor and results and luck and results. They both have outcomes. There's an ROI for both. Wouldn't you agree? Hey, look, I'm going to tell you for 30 plus years that of my life, right? My mother played the daily numbers. And I probably can count on one hand the number of times that she won anything. But it doesn't supersede what she put in. We know that. But what are the odds? Let's take a walk together as we look at luck or labor. And I want to tell you, I love Labor Day for different reasons. Not for the reasons it was developed or thought of. And no matter what country you live in, you can embrace Labor Day. Isn't it interesting we don't have something called Luck Day? So let's take a look together. What is this stuff? Luck and the odds. Chance and probability. You know what's interesting? I was a science major in college, right? Before I went to business school, I was a pre-med biology and chemistry major. And I had to take stats. I had to take classes like intuitive calculus. I had to really understand from a mathematical standpoint how to project and see when things are coming. And what's interesting is I learned a lot about my childhood as a growing up poor. I learned that chance and luck, that's all it was. It wasn't even likely that many things would happen. So when I began to understand that even the likelihood that the dice, if I'm rolling dice, that it would land on the 6 or a 1. Once I knew the chances of things, I really had a greater understanding of how to project and predict. Intuitive calculus, we learned how to predict how big a wound will be if the person comes to the doctor's office when it's only this size, really small, and what we can expect in 3 or 4 days. As we draw it out, as it grows a little bit, we can already project how big it will be in X number of days. I started learning the connection between chance and probability and actual forecasting, what to expect. And that's changed my life. But I want you to know that we call these chances and probabilities, once we come up with the formula and the number, we call it the odds. What are the odds that you'll be successful just because you join a company on one day and you're one of the first? What's the chances of you getting rich? Your mind's gonna be blown if you think about those odds. What are the odds if you're talking about luck? Just being in the right place at the right time on the right day. You're gonna meet that person just because you were on the corner of 42nd and Broad. You're gonna meet the husband or the wife of your dreams, right? The odds of it. That's what you have to take into consideration. What we do often, we don't understand that watch how I say this. As your emotions go up, your intellect goes down. There needs to be some symmetry, some balance. You cannot take over. Oh, I'm excited. And what do most network marketers say, folks? What do most MLMers say when they want you to join? I'm just so excited. I'm so excited. And it works because most have come from a middle class or impoverished generation. I'm going to turn this off because I don't want anyone calling me at all. Have you noticed that? When you get to a home business meeting, how many of you are excited? And people are excited. There's music playing and people are hyped up. And when that happens and there's little substance, people don't understand why when they get home, the excitement's gone. Because it was based on things that are stacked against you, like the odds and the chances and probability. So we have to ride. By the way, if you have just got in, please mute your microphone. I didn't want to go out and do it because I don't want to get distracted from what I'm talking about. The odds. Well, if you're working with luck, they're stacked against you in many ways. We'll find out more about that in a minute. Mute your microphones, please. Now, let's look a little for what else. Are there examples of this stuff, Dwayne? We hear you talking. Well, let's look at some examples that you even have yourself. Here's out of curiosity. What do you all know about the lottery and lottery wins? Do you know much about them? Well, the odds are still slim. After a century or more, they're still slim. According to Lottery USA, the odds of winning a Mega Millions jackpot are 1 in 302.6 millions. Now, here's what's interesting about that to me. I'm not even talking Powerball yet. That if my odds are that in anything, I'm going to take my chances with this. What I'm pointing at is my brain. I'm going to take my chances with this. If those are my odds, you play every day for the rest of your life. Every day. And all the best. You'll probably spend close to that when you're done. But if I'm looking at the Powerball, the odds of winning the Powerball jackpot are 1 in 292 million. Combine these odds, ladies and gentlemen, they're stacked against you. I'm not here to discourage you from playing the lottery. I'm just trying to tell you about life. You're only alive this much time. If you're the result of what you want out of this life and your purpose are based on luck, you have missed the point of why you've been granted such a beautiful thing as life. There are people who have died and passed away that we all love, who would love to have a chance to fight in this life using substance, because most throw their life away by the time it's time to go. They have so many regrets because most things are dependent upon the absence of substance and the presence of luck. If you, just off of this little bit, are inspired enough to get away from luck and embrace labor, type in the number 1. I didn't even get to labor yet, but I want you to understand that this is something that has devastated the minority communities across the United States. Devastated, so we don't even make great decisions because we're so dependent upon the luck. Maybe my person's going to get into office and it's going to all change. Oh my gosh. Maybe, just maybe, I'm just going to get that job because, watch this now, we'll try to tie in God with luck. And we're playing against another team. So what do? We're going to say that He wants me to win because he loves me. Hey, look, there's two people on both teams. Has nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it at all. You're missing the point. He's put principles in our world that work throughout the universe that we can apply and work with, not luck with. So what the heck is this stuff? Let's look at the MLM and home business world. The numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. If the odds are, this is just my opinion, you can look at it yourself, that 98.5% of the people in their home business will never make a comma in their income each month in any company. You can pick your company. It doesn't matter. You can't make money just by joining something. You can be a part of it. You can make someone else wealthy, right? That's for sure. But if you're gonna plug in something, if you're joining a home business, like I love it. I just saw another one of these posts today. No recruiting, no sales, no labor. Just join and you're gonna get rich. The person telling you that is gonna show you how much they made because they're selling that song. I'm here to tell you, you gotta do the math. I sit here before you today, and most of you, if not all of you, I've never met you. I sit here before you today in the presence and the result of year after year after year of working. If you looked for me 5 years ago, you will find me in the same location. When I say location, it means I'm not selling fruit today and recruiting for college sports team on Monday and then trying to get you to pay me to be a part of my new restaurant. I'm not flipping and flopping and switching and swapping. Business is business. Investments are investments. But when you try to make them all the same thing, you turn it into luck. And no wonder it has cost your family more than it's made your family if you look back in the last few years. It can change. You can be a part of a new paradigm, a great new culture that is lasting. There's nothing wrong with change, but change had better mean progress. Not the same stuff on a different day. My Lord. What are the odds? Interesting. Before I go a step further, I think it's important that we talk for a minute. You guys, when it came to cryptocurrency, many of you were not just deceived, but because the creators, because the owners knew that everyone wanted to see themselves getting lucky, it was an easy sell to tell you that you can earn 1%, 5%, 10%. Some people told you, you're just going to automatically, sounds just like the lottery, you're going to double your money every 90 days, every 60 days. To the tune of, this is so amazing. I find my ship that I've been waiting for, that I've been told by my grandmother, finally came in. One of these days, it's going to all get better. It's finally happening. Now, because, watch this, just like the house. Many of you don't understand Las Vegas and Reno. You don't even understand it. But the house always wins. It's stacked against you if it doesn't want some of you. So let me go ahead and mute you for a second while I finish this statement. I get it. Oh, good. I'm glad you get it. Praise God. I'm glad you get it. I get it too. And I won't even for a moment, I don't want to even pretend that it won't take work. I don't want to sell you. Somebody asked me today, can you just do, I'm like, no, I won't do that. I have to be able to look at me in the mirror and know that I'm not cheating people just to get something. I want you to understand, you could do it right the first time. Did you not know that the reason you can win a few times on your slot machine or at the table is because the house wants you to win a little bit, so you can go all in. And what happened over the past few years? The companies waited until you got a lot of payments in, then you went and took your kids' college money and put it in. Then some of people have put their houses up for mortgage. Some have took their life savings after they said they won 10 or 20,000. They wanted you to really go all in. What do they tell you? You just keep re-putting it back in so it keeps building higher. It doesn't work if you don't win something. So here's my formula. And I've tried to give this to you before I get back to the presentation. Anything that only wants my money, it's offering me luck. That's the way I look at it. If that's all it wants, let them tell me no recruiting, no work, no monthly, no nothing. Just pay once and I'm going to get rich. I personally run full speed ahead. That's it. If it's a business. If it's not a business, it's different. Most of the charlatans are telling you that it's a business. And all you have to do is be lucky. I want you to embrace Labor Day. I want you to note some of the beauties we're able to experience because of labor. So before I get back to the presentation, as I look at some of you, let me go ahead. I see names like Don, Renee, Tommy. I see different names here. Nor, Alan, Galaxy X10, whoever you are. You are here today because someone went through 3 trimesters, right? 38 weeks of discomfort, throwing up, nausea, morning sickness, and then to top it all off, labor. Some were born in the first few hours. Some, like my oldest boy, took 27 hours of labor just to get here. And because of that fight for that life, it's the things we cherish in life the most, the things we've given ourselves for. The thing we've labored for, the things we love most. Isn't it interesting that a mother doesn't even care what she looks like to protect that child? If a child's out front being ganged up on, even if the mother's barely dressed, she's got rollers in her hair and a face mask on, she's going to run out and fight those intruders away. Don't you understand the absence of connection because luck's involved instead of your labor? You're not even there. My last analogy before I get back to the presentation goes like this. Let me see if I can mute it back out. I keep hearing some voices, so I got to make sure I get back to it. Happy Labor Day to you. The things in life that you remember the most, the things in life that have driven you the most are things you've labored for. Why switch it now? Why wait till you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old and now rely on luck when it's not worked for millions of people? And what's interesting now? You can gain by luck. Don't be mistaken. You could be the 1 in 2.92 billion. You could be 1 in 10,000. You could be one of those that gets it by luck. But didn't you know that the results, the outcomes that you get from luck don't last? Have you ever seen an interview of someone that's won 10 or 20 million? They received it, but they didn't have the capacity to sustain it or grow it because it was only luck. They didn't bring this. Now, if I can get back to the presentation and you get what I'm saying, you really will embrace this idea of labor. There's nothing wrong with work. I don't know who sold that lie. It's a beautiful thing. My gray hair comes from work. What am I creating next? I've got some surprises coming for you guys. Going to knock your socks off. I honestly do because I've labored for it. If you get this, type in the number 2. If you really get this idea, if you're going to create lasting legacy, wealth, not the fake I'm rich for 2 months. I made $367,000. You have to show that same image for 6 years because you're still chasing it because you only had it from luck in the beginning. My God. I'm sorry. I just get torn up over it because you deserve better. So, what are your odds if you're relying on Lucky 7? What are your odds? Do the math yourself. Haven't you seen it? Have you not seen? I don't know. I'm sorry. I thought I turned it off. Have you not seen the people? Have you not seen that? They've won. They did great last year. They're still chasing it. Have you not seen that? Have you not seen that the people who are supposed to be like the top dogs, they sent you a message 2 months ago. Now they're doing a different one. And 2 months from now, they're going to also ask you for more of your money. to follow them in the luck of the draw? Have you not? Have you not noticed that because you haven't unsubscribed yet, that you already can predict that next month you're going to get new email messages about something new? I trust that you do understand this. Labor or work? Let's look at labor. Chance and probability. Here's what we know. We know that if you just apply yourself, you can do it. We've learned that since high school, since grade school. I remember telling my dad, but I'm little, I'm the smallest, I can't do it. Son, you can do anything you put your mind to. Don't you know that? And the more they tell you you can't, the more you should know you can. You can make up your inability, which, watch this now, you can make up in leverage that you gain by your labor what you lack in ability. I'm like, really? He goes, yes. Didn't you know that your father has never... My dad told me I can't read or write. I didn't go to school. I'm like, okay. He says, he showed me homes that he's built, things he's done, became a licensed contracting plumber. Okay, that can happen. My coach told me. Now listen, I was in special needs. I failed in school when most have thrived. I had a 6th grade level of math, science, and English when I left school, but I was told by my parents that I could do anything that I want, and don't let that stop me. So by the age of 38 years old, I'm a part of the primary care scholarship program, where they take these pre-med majors and they allow some of them to be scholarshiped in because of their labor and their quality of work to now become a primary physician in any of these counties. They just have to go to this college. I mean, at the time, I already have a wife and 3 kids. I decided to get an MBA instead, and I began to work in business at a hospital as a lab manager. But I wanted it, I had it, and I achieved it because of labor. If I relied on luck, it may have happened, but it'd been a 1 in millions of chances. You are the artist with the canvas and the paintbrush if you use labor. Your chances are improved. I'm going to show you some stories in a moment. Some people give you some answers, some knowing the odds. It's interesting. You're given 24 hours a day, the same playing field as everyone else who is alive today. You're given 168 hours a week. You're given the exact same playing field as someone else. You might say it's because they're white or they're blue or they're black. Because they're black, they're getting to college and I'm not getting into college. Because they're Spanish, they're part of a special program. You can tell yourself whatever lie you want, but what do you do with what you've been given? It's been written long before you were born that if you can be faithful and labor of what little bit you have, you can overcome it. It's not about being better than someone or having more chances. I'd say personally, the odds were stacked against me, but because of labor, I was able to make up and leverage what I lacked in opportunity. So can you. When I was a child, I told you guys, if I traveled with my family, we're going somewhere out of town to a funeral or something, if we're traveling to the south, we use the bathroom in the bushes on the side of the road because the gas stations and the little restaurants didn't have a color bathroom. Does that mean I can't be successful in business? Does that mean I haven't been pulled over unjustifiably? It doesn't matter. It doesn't stop me because I can make up in labor. It may not be fair, but who cares about fair? I only have one life to live. Someone said, does it seem fair that because you're black, you have to work harder? I don't care about fair. I really don't. I want to take whatever God's given me and give it all I have, and I will make up in leverage using labor what I lack in opportunity, and you can do the same. Whether you're a woman or not, that's not an excuse. Whether you're Spanish or Italian or Irish, doesn't matter. No matter what the media wants you to believe, no matter what the politicians want you to believe. What are the examples? Well, I'm glad you asked. There's a movie out right now that talks about the first millionaire African-American woman. I'm not even going to use her on the slide. She made hair care products in a time when her peers are slaves. Everybody's, descendants of slavery, slaves, or already slaves. She created hair care products that they needed. She used her labor. She worked outside of the normal environment to create an opportunity that would leave a legacy that her company still lasts. It's still here. How many of you here have been enslaved before? None of you. You can start a business. She didn't put money in a business. They didn't say no work. She saw a need and created a solution for it, and that takes work. So let's take a look. Many of you don't know the Google story. Many of you know it. A lot of you know it. Sergey Brin, gosh, all of a sudden I didn't sleep much last night. Sergey Brin and dude, I'm running into a brain fuzzle. It's interesting how a lot of winners today left some of their college projects to start their business. Google, who tried to sell this to Yahoo in the 90s. You guys mute yourself, please. Okay, let me go ahead and do it for you because I can't. That really gets to me after a while here. Hang on a second. I'll be right back, folks. I'm just going to mute everybody. There we go. You're muted. Thank you. Please, thank you. Okay, back to it. So now, when I look at Google, I think about what they've been through. They couldn't even sell to Yahoo, who kind of laughed them away and said, yeah, thank you, but that, your project sounds okay. They had this search ranking system they tried to sell. It wasn't even worth it to Yahoo. Yahoo's number one at the time. Google made up in leverage what they lacked in presence. They didn't have a presence yet. At this time, there was Alta Vista, there's Ask Jeeves, there's AOL Searcher. Everybody's got a search engine, but theirs was stinky. Just a new concept. They didn't try to get lucky. They worked their butts off, and the rewards are here. The odds are stacked for you if you'll work for it. Last I checked, if you're here, you've been alive for a few decades. Here's what you didn't know. Because we've all been conditioned to be drones, we spent decades making someone else rich at our jobs. Now you can spend the next decade building your family's legacy. You put all that time into your thing and you can do well. The odds are in your favor in comparison to luck. We can look at Harlan Sanders. He made up in labor. What 965, 900 plus pitches to people to buy his recipe? 900 plus? On retirement? Some of you have an excuse and you're in your 30s, but I had to. I didn't know what to do. Look at this, I'm already 35. This guy was in his 60s. He labored his way through it. Happy Labor Day, you can do it. I could go on and on. Sam Walton, how many of you know the Sam Walton story? Huh? Do you know the Sam Walton story? Hey, Walmart, hey, look, if you go back to even 1988, 87, you never heard of Walmart unless you lived in Texas or you lived in Arkansas. There's just a handful of them. Kmart was the top of their game. And the same sales pitch that was given to Walmart was given to Kmart. They just didn't listen. Walmart labored their way through it year after year. Year after year. And they have a great presence around the globe. Because they labored for it. They didn't luck their way to it. The odds are in your favor if you're willing to work for something. Just like a mother works through those 38 weeks to bring the most beautiful entrance into our world, you can do that. I worked for the last 15 years to be where I'm at. It took labor. I can't tell you a success story of someone who gets wealth, sustains it, builds it through luck. So let's keep going. Oh, Dave. Oh my goodness. Wendy's story. Many of you know this guy's story. He was a foster care guy. He worked with the McDonald brothers. He did all this stuff. He just had to get his own thing, man. He worked through it. Today, he's having transactions around the world. I can do this. I go all day Uber. I can tell you the odds are in your favor if you're willing to go that route. They're in your favor if you're willing to build something. I'm telling you, here at Ingresso Cybernetico, we are a business company. We help people to build their own business using products. You can still go get lucky, but I'm going to tell you right now, I could think of a company that has about 1 million people in it right now. If you can count more than 10 people who've gone off to build sustainable wealth, it's too early to tell. But if there's 1 million, where's everybody out there should be making money? I'm here to tell you, the person that tells you no work, no recruiting, no anything, you should be offended that someone wants you to do that. Ladies, what do you feel when the guy comes to you and says, look, I want you to be my woman, right? So much that you don't have to do, all you have to do is have a pretty face and a pretty body. That's all I pretty much see in what you can bring to the table, right? Then we can get something going. I don't want to hear your mouth. I don't want to hear you talking. I don't want your quote unquote intellect. Isn't that a shoot at you? In every other room in the world. I don't want some bring me on board because I'm black. That's not enough for me. It's not enough. I don't want it. I want it something that I've worked for and can appreciate, and certainly understand that it's an actual depiction of my investment of myself. Don't you? I wouldn't want anything to do with a woman that wants me just because I'm male. It's not enough. Why is it that we have so little respect for our business that all we need is a transaction? I thought that would cheapen it personally. So here's what I'm going to tell you. Today, you guys understand what you have. Investments are investments. Don't be foolish now. Don't you think all these guys I mentioned, from Colonel Sanders to the McDonald brothers to anybody that's successful in business, don't have investments. They're two different things. Your business, right? It requires the catalyst of work or labor for it to succeed. If you have an investment that's going to grow money for you, that's different. Put your investment in. It does the work. That's a whole separate thing. But that you can grow income that way. But I'm talking about building something, a business that's going to pay you from now on. So there's different things here. So with that being said, I want you to note, we know this. We've been working hard at it. We're going to be bringing something to your attention. We're going to be bringing something to the marketplace where I know you want to dabble. I know you want to know about investments. We are fortunate enough early on to buy into different altcoins, and we know how they grow. We know how to make lots of money with it. We're going to introduce something to you this month when we launch. Right now, we're just in this pre-launch period, right? We're going to bring something to you so you can understand how to do this stuff responsibly, but you don't call it business. That's an investment. You know, if you have stock in Apple, there's nothing to do. You just buy it, right? Yes. No, look, granted, in a lot of programs, you can make money while you do it. That's good. Just understand the words when I talk about this residual long-term effect. Wealthy people make long-term decisions, and they have some short-term decisions that accompany it. They don't give up long-term for short-term. It's just not smart. So now, I told you I wouldn't keep you long. It's only been 35 minutes. Are there any comments or questions that anyone has? I open the door. I welcome it, because you deserve that as you prepare to do some great things with your family on this holiday time. Anyone, because I want you to note that I personally have been taught by my parents the value of not letting people give me anything. I want to work for it. And if my mom and dad taught me early on, if all she wants is your money, you better run, right? They taught me. If they're saying they want to do it just because you're black, don't you do it. You come from a family lineage, you won't accept that. If you want to do it just because you're a woman, I want you to note that you can make up and leverage what you lack in opportunity, what you lack in ability, what you lack in other areas. You can make it up and leverage through your labor. So now, there you go. Oh, somebody said something. I heard a Okay. Okay. I heard you, Dwight. Yes, you're lit too, bro. Okay. Anyone here have anything at all? You guys are wonderful. Okay, thank you for sticking, and having a vision. Oh, you're welcome, bro. Amara. You guys, blessings to you. I wish you well today for you and your families. You're the best. Stay tuned for some exciting things. Wednesday, if you want to know what we're having, always go to our website. You can see in the webinar section what's coming next. On Wednesday, we have our leadership circle. I will go into a little bit more detail about some of the things we're going to do. We're going to introduce to our leadership first of our new project that we'll be doing. That'll be a Ingresso Cybernetico project. You already know we do a lot of cool things with clients out there. A lot of companies out there you guys are seeing, and you might don't even realize it, that we may be the actual architects of the new things. We want you to know that you can get it right here from the horse's mouth first. Okay? God bless you guys. All the best. Is there more stuff here? Been working my first million from... Okay. All right. That's what I'm hearing, Sean. Way to go. Okay. God bless you guys. It's time for us to move on. I wish you the best. Have a great day. Take care.